Yo, we're back with a late night stream, late night show. My goodness, I have to make sure that right now that the sound is working because early on we had a little sound situation. But you know what? At the same time, I also have to make sure that I don't get hit by the Mo Salah penalty kick. I heard it still hasn't landed yet. I heard it somewhere in flight. Oh man, I heard Mo Salah's penalty is still somewhere in the motion, in the stratosphere, trying to land. So anyway, it was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day for a rival fan, and especially for Man United fans. But you know what? We have to do this thing. This show and this channel, we do this thing where after every Manchester United game, we pretty much review the game because every match is a test. We view every match like that, and we give a player that started a letter grade and a little remark, just based on their performance. And sometimes we obviously shout out the substitutes, sometimes we don't. But we're gonna go ahead and do this real quick and just say, my goodness, that game versus Real Betis. Oh my gosh, what a thriller! What a thriller! What a thriller! It ended 4-1, ladies and gentlemen, at Old Trafford. So big shout out to you, by the way, for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button. It ended 4-1. And you know what? Big shout out to Marcus Rashford, because we were coming out of we were coming out of a terrible situation, you know, just at the weekend. You know what I mean? So it was just fantastic to be able to get that first goal. Marcus Rashford did it on the 6th minute. So that's why I want to give him his flowers and just say, Marcus, oh, with the sizzling form. And he continues, he gets the Premier League Player of the Month award again. And my God, this boy is on fire. What Ten Hag and Benny McCarthy has done with him, it's just remarkable. So we just have to give the flowers and the respect where it's due and say, Marcus, he did the thing. And the most important thing, which I believe is lending the first blow. That was very important for the psychology of the team after being annihilated by Liverpool. You know, it's very, very important for the team to know that they can attack and believe in the attack and actually have a little bit of verve in that movement and in the attacking sequences. But anyway, so now we're gonna go talk about how everybody pretty much. So if you're new to this channel, you have to know this. This is the whiteboard. On this whiteboard, you'll see a lot of triangles. But the triangles that we are going to see today are pretty much an analysis of how we have Man United right here, and then we have Real Betis right here, and then this is at halftime. That's the halftime mark, and that's the 90th minute mark. This is 0 minutes. So pretty much the first wave of attack went to Manchester United, and then the second one was Real Betis, and they had a big triangle. So as a team, you want to have lots of triangles, and you want to have big triangles. And the next triangle pretty much was a Manchester United triangle, and then it went back to Betis, and then a Man United triangle, and another Betis triangle, smaller triangle, and then Man United, Man United, Man United. And then when we got to halftime, so it was more or less even, because both teams are able to get the ball into the final third or the opposition. So you can see that, like, the triangles were triangulating in the first half from both ends, even though the Betis triangles were a little smaller. But when we came back from the second half, Ten Hag gave that any given Sunday speech. If you look at that any given Betis video on this channel, you might enjoy it if you know the movie, obviously. But the triangles when we came back from halftime were pretty much Man United triangles all the way. All the way. It was Man United, Man United, Man United wave after the take. Maybe like for a smidgen when they had a corner, you could say this was a tiny Betis triangle, but it was so tiny that it was you wouldn't even want to count it. So that's how the triangles triangulated. So in this moment, obviously we had when Betis had the wave and the momentum of the game, that is when we actually scored. It was with Marcus Rashford on the 6th minute. It was Rashford. And then, so matter of fact, I should make this dotted. So yeah, it's a little dotted line right there. Boom, Marcus Rashford on the 6th minute. And then what happened is, fast forward a little bit later into the game, it was Ayoze Perez who scored when Manchester United was actually dominating. It was funny because Perez's goal came, I think, around the 30 something minute, 32nd minute. There we go. Um, Dodge it again. Look at my cheat code. Anyway, so yeah, it was an Ayoze Perez goal. And what happened was they had a throw in, and we won possession momentarily and wasted it right there and there. And then they somehow, the ball obviously touches what's that kid's name again? Is it Ju? I'm forgetting his name. Juan Mi. Yeah, the ball touches Juan Mi's arm, and then he crosses it over to Perez, and then they score, and then somehow it still counts. But anyway, whatever. We move. Man United, we move. And then anyway, come as the last wave of attack, where we're pretty much Man United towards the halftime, but it wasn't really threatening attacks. And then the real attacks came in the second half. My goodness. Oh, Man United caught the wave from Anthony. Anthony, I think around the 52nd minute, 52, it was Anthony. Boom. And then after that, it was and Anthony was a pattern of passing sequences when we pretty much just, it was Bruno Fernandez supplied the ball to Anthony, and Anthony was able to do his signature move and just finesse the ball with his left. And I think he's now ready to do this in the Premier League. So anyway, so the next triangle was more or less, significant triangle was Bruno. I think it was Bruno on the 58th minute. Bruno. Oh my goodness. That was a Luke Shaw assist from a corner kick. Boom. Luke Shaw. That, we've broken the set piece curse, We're actually in a good position as Man United, because that set piece, there was a season we've been struggling with set pieces, and right now that set piece curse is broken. So anyway, so Bruno got that goal, and my goodness, it was perfect to see Bruno score from a header, because that's something that you don't see a lot. And then after Bruno, it was woot 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 around the 82nd minute. I think it was somewhere here. Boom, Wout Weghorst, boom, with the goal. And this triangle is important because it was Pelistri who manufactured this goal by pretty much, it was from a corner. Also, it was from a corner, and the ball ended up with Pelistri, and Pelistri was able to just take on pretty much, or rather, like, take the ball away from three Betis players, and then somehow provide a low driven cross for Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay shot the ball, and then the ball rebounded all the way to where Wood was standing, and Wood just capitalized and got his goal that he deserved. He should have had a hat trick. But anyway, we're gonna get to that, because we're actually supposed to, we got too deep into the significance of the triangles, but this was supposed to be just a quick little triangulation summation of how the game went. So boom, there we go. Thank you for rocking with me on that. Now we're going to talk about these grades really quickly, because I do not want to dwell too much on this, because you know what, we have to just say, though, it's important, because every single game we have to look at it. We do this, we do this all the time in this channel. It's just one of them things where I remember what the Liverpool game, we had to throw away those those grades, because Everybody failed. So, and then after we threw them in the trash, but then, after we saw Liverpool lose today to Bournemouth, we had to just go into the trash and burn the trash, because, man, that was so disheartening. But anyway, every game is a test, every game is an exam.
Yeah, every game is an exam. Every time again, for as a team and as individual.
Now, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, all right, how are the grades looking like? So, boom, the first person we're going to go with is David De Gea. We always start from the back, going all the way to the front. Boom, David De Gea. Boom. This is the Betis Cheese review. Boom. All right. And then after David De Gea, Luke Shaw, Varane, Martinez, Dallo, boom. Okay, I should have made maybe had these written out before, but there we go. I'm pretty much done with it now. All right. So David De Gea, I would say he was the best player for Betis. He had, it's crazy because clearly there was something mentally that was like there was a mental lapse going on right there. Let me make sure that I'm sharing screen so you can see what's going on. Boom. Best player for Betis. Luke, so he has to get a B. We're gonna have to give him a. It's supposed to be a B minus, really, but I'll be generous today and just give him a B. And then Varane, he should have stopped Perez's goal, and also man, Varane. I mean Luke Shaw. Sorry, he should have stopped Perez's goal, and he also had something that's also, balanced his bad performance a little bit is the fact that he assisted Bruno, right, with the set piece goal. So he has to get a B plus. He can't get the same grade as De Gea, so he has to get a B plus and go boom, B plus, um, assist, but have stopped the goal, boom. And Varane was one of those people that was just sort of solid at the back. I think like honestly you can't say anything really bad about his performance. So he has to get an A minus, other than the fact that maybe, um, from a set piece or something, he could have scored. You know, that's the grade for Varane. Martinez did a little bit marginally better than Varane, so Martinez has to get an A, just a solid A, because he had some really good passing. And hold on. Some important passes that broke the lines, you know. But still gave the stability that like Varane also gave. So pure class. I'll say that the butchery is open again. If there was somebody that the butchery is open again. If there was somebody that still suffering from the Liverpool hangover, it was David De Gea with his atrocious passing. But the thing about it is that is you know with Martinez, you can say that now he's put that behind him. And then with Dallo, he's still suffering from what St. Maximum put him through. I'd give him the worst grade, which is a C plus, because he was getting cooked, and he just isn't been the same since the injury. you know, since Qatar. We won pre-Qatar, Dallo. But also the other thing is Dallo was also overworked. He's one of the players that was mainly by Ten Hag, like he was definitely overworked. So you have to say, you know, it could be one of those things where the fatigue, it's all just sort of just culminating in just a little bit of a, oh, never misrub says C minus for Dalo. No way. C minus. Come on, he played for just 45 minutes, and they got one goal, and other than that, he did complete some passes. He did have a little moment where I think like one play at the beginning, where at the early part of the first half, where he intercepted like a passing sequence. So give him a little bit of credit. Like maybe let's resolve to a C. If you give him a C minus and I'm giving him a C plus, we'll just give him just a solid C. Boom. Okay. But that's the main thing that I was getting at. It's like, did we overrun him? Because do you remember that like he was playing all the time? Ten Hag was playing him all the time, every single game. We probably overrun him, and now I hope we're not doing the same thing to Marcus. Anyway, Fred, he definitely had a few interceptions and a couple of good tackles, and I'd say he's normally a mosquito, but he was a silent mosquito. Mosquitoes are annoying for two things: for the bite and the little wee. So Fred was just annoying for one thing and didn't really have the other thing that he's usually annoying for. So we're gonna give him a B for being a silent mosquito. But good tackles though, just and not enough interceptions. And then we'll go to Casemiro. Casemiro, we're gonna give him a, I feel like he definitely did a little bit better than Fred, but obviously he was less than Martinez and less than Varane. So we're gonna give him a B plus. B plus for Casemiro. Why? He yeah, he just didn't, you can't say he did some things really, really horrible, but at the same time, it wasn't his best game. It wasn't his best game. But you know what? You know, he did have a moment that he provided for Wood Wargos, and Wood Wargos decided to be offside. That wasn't Casemiro's fault, So he did contribute a little bit. That's why it has to be a B plus. Would have been just a solid B, but you know, Casemiro, he'll be back. He'll be back on the next game. I definitely know that he was probably still washing away that Liverpool hangover, just like David De Gea. So Bruno, there's nobody that performed like Bruno. Bruno was everywhere. Bruno got an assist. Bruno got a goal with the header. Bruno provided. Even that Rashford goal, the first goal that Rashford scored, it doesn't count as a Bruno assist, but it's Bruno driving the ball. And that, if you see that the trajectory of that ball, it's going to where Weghorst is on the far post, and it's going in a very, very, it's a very well-timed, driven pass that if what's his name, Felipe Melo or whatever, that defender does not intercept that ball, that ball is going to Weghorst, and Weghorst is going to score. And it's because, so that's a technical assist from Bruno, right? And then there's the assist that he actually gave to Anthony. That's another registered assist. And then there's the goal from the header. So Bruno was everywhere. And then the ball that the threaded pass for Anthony, that where Anthony could have just squared the ball to like 3 Man United players, right? And Anthony decides to try a dink, and then it hits the post. So Anthony, is actually making me feel like sometimes we're wasting a player like Bruno. Imagine if we had a Van Nistelrooy, in there. That would have, working with Bruno, that would be an amazing combination. But anyway, Bruno was by far the best player on the pitch, so he gets an A plus for me. That's a solid A plus, my friend, because I feel like we're not going to see another performance like that from him in a while. We'll see him, waste a few other other balls, but like he was so efficient with most of the balls that he touched. So Rashford, as I said, we got that first goal that we needed, and that got us roaring and believing again. So he just gets an A minus. A minus. Uh, great first goal. You know, other than that, Rashford, obviously there's arguably some other chances that, like Claudio Bravo, it should be an A. I'm just making it an A minus because it was just one goal. Marcus Rashford has set a high standard for himself now. Anthony gets a B plus. B plus because Anthony finally got the goal. You know, great finesse goal. But then, there was other moments where, I said he squares that ball, he gets an assist, and then that B plus becomes an A minus. But he was also effective on the left hand side, which is so refreshing. And we need more. We need more from Anthony. Wood Weghorst, great tenacity, great pressing. Finally, he got his goal, but he should have had a hat trick. Should have been a hat trick. So we're going to just give him a solid B because he can't have a B plus. Then he's on the same level as Anthony. And the referee gets a C because referee that was a handball, and you let that goal stand. Ten Hag. Wow, we are so blessed to have this man. We are so blessed to have Eric Ten Heisenberg, the chemist himself. He gets a solid, solid, solid A because how many times can we say that we're going to go to Spain with a 3-goal margin? Come on now. And we're missing Christian Eriksen. We're missing Martial. Come on now. This is magic. For also picking the same team that lost versus Liverpool. My goodness, Ten Hag is a magician. So those are the grades. That's the Real Betis review. And now we'll quickly, in 2 minutes, talk about Southampton real quick, because Southampton is a very tough team, even though they're at the bottom of the league pretty much. Like, they're a very, very tough team. And the person to really watch out for, obviously, is James Ward-Prowse. And I think if we stop Ward-Prowse, then we are actually going to be able to have a little bit of a control of the game, because he's a person that controls the tempo for the game, for that game. And they played Chelsea. They beat Chelsea. Ward-Prowse got a free kick, and that man scoring a free kick is easier than scoring a penalty. And if that's why we can't have a McTominay. Nobody needs. If when we're in this area right here, we cannot foul, because Ward-Prowse is just gonna go and score that. So that's just like the person to look out for. The other person is also Adams. Adams is very, very good. He's a solid player who connects well with his teammates and has a lot of assists. Actually, when you look at the team stats, you realize that Adams is one of the leading players in terms of assists. And he's normally the person leading the charge, or the main center forward. The other person that we have to be wary of is the lad who what's his name? He hurt Leicester. And I feel like his name is what is his name? Alcaraz, Carlos Alcaraz. He's the one who scored from a counter attack, and I feel like Walcott was also playing that game. So this team is also very difficult to predict because they have a new manager, and Ruben Selles, that's his name, and he is a Spanish manager who we don't know a lot about. We know that 4-4-2 is his formation, and he's won 2 out of 3 league games. So it's one of those where Ten Hag has to make sure that the players are ready for whatever, and we're mainly charged up and believing in us in ourselves. So it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait. This is the Man United Southampton preview, and I'll say that my prediction is 2-0. Now, if they score, it's just going to be one goal, and it'll be a James Ward-Prowse set-piece delivery. It may not be a free kick. It may be like a corner or something, but we're definitely going to score 2 goals at least. Marcus Rashford, Anthony. I got this feeling that Ten Heisenberg going to keep cooking. Big shout out to you for tuning in. Thank you so much for checking this out. This was the Manchester United versus Real Betis review, and also the Southampton versus Man United preview. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. I'll see you tomorrow.